All right, so I have 6 p.m. on the dot. Um, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll ask for the Eastern Florida team if you guys would like to go ahead and turn on your cameras as well. We can go ahead and get started. There we go. And Mr. Harris from FIT. And students, feel free, if you'd like your cameras on as well, you can turn them on. We have no issues or concerns with that as well. So feel free to join us up here. But first and foremost, I would like to say good evening. Thank you all for being here to join us this evening for our Go Higher, Make the Switch virtual workshop. We are planning to have this last about an hour long. We know that everyone has things to do, so the way that this will work is we're just going to briefly go over some of the things that you as a transitioning dual enrollment student would need to know to better help yourself as you prepare to either get started with us in the summer or the fall term. So we have some staff here who I am going to go ahead and introduce. First and foremost, my name is Myron Campbell. I am the College and Career Outreach Specialist here at Eastern Florida State College, and I am also here with Dr. Sarah Stokel. She's our COCO Campus Advisor. We also have Kim Castle, the Director of Melbourne Campus Admissions, Dylan Green, College and Career Readiness Coordinator, and he's also going to be helping out in the chat. And we also have Mr. Ken Harris, special guest here from FIT, Army ROTC program. So a little bit about today. Like I said, we are going to talk about some of the things that dual enrollment students need to kind of be prepared as they transition from a dual enrollment student to a continuing student with us. What would that look like? What are some of the things that we need to do since we know that we don't need to reapply? And a little bit about how the day is going to run. If you have any questions, feel free to type those in the chat. We will definitely have a section at the end for questions, but if you have any, feel free to go ahead and type those in the chat, and either Ms. Castle or Mr. Green will see those questions, and if there are things that we can answer right then and there in the chat, they'll go ahead and answer them. If not, once we finish the presentation, then we will have a opportunity for questions at the end as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this presentation. So first and foremost, what do I need to get ready for fall semester at Eastern Florida State College? So as we know, dual enrollment is different from regular admissions to Eastern Florida because students, they must now meet all of the general admissions requirements before registering for fall classes. So we're going to talk a little bit about, what that looks like. First and foremost, we want to make sure that you are an active student. So if you have not taken classes since 11th grade or earlier, you must complete a readmit application online for the fall term. Don't worry, this application is free if you've already taken dual enrollment classes with us. So one thing that we want to do is we just want to make sure that we have the most up-to-date information on our students. So, in 10th grade, you might have lived in one location, or maybe your phone number was different than what it is now. So we want to go ahead, complete that readmit application, and we want to make sure that we have the most up-to-date information for our students. And one of those things that we're going to look at would be, is your current major, is that right? Is that what you actually want to study? Because it might have been something different when you were originally a dual enrollment student. So first and foremost, check to make sure that you're active in our system. Usually that means you have not taken a class within the year, or a year within classes starting. So in our world, that means probably if you haven't taken a class since 11th grade or earlier, you would need to do a readmit application. So that's one thing that we will make sure that we check. The second thing that we will need to do and we're going to go into a little bit more detail later about this, is submit your high school diploma. We definitely want to see that, even though you're dual enrolled with us, or you were at some point, that you have gone ahead and finished that last check in your checklist, which is graduating from high school. So go ahead and submit your high school diploma to us as well. And, depending on if you're doing summer or fall classes, we'll have some other things that you may need to do, like a grad pending, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit later for students that want to take classes a little earlier in May, which is our summer term. But for most students that are interested in our fall term, we will need for them to submit their high school transcript / diploma. The third thing is submit your proof of Florida residency. Um, Make sure that, this is something that we don't do as a dual enrollment student. Florida residency is automatically met and is kind of fulfilled by the high school. So this isn't something that a dual enrollment student would have had to do in the past with us. So everyone defaults as a non-Florida resident until they complete the Florida residency affidavit. And Mrs. Castle is actually going to go over what that residency affidavit and what some of the proofs that we usually are later on in this presentation. But that is a major one that we want to make sure that you do. So, maybe when you're there to turn in your transcripts, you can also work with admissions on completing the Florida residency affidavit with the documents that go along with it. All right. And another thing that we want you to do is meet your advisor. Okay. We know some things might have changed since the last time that you were with us. They are going to sit down with you, check out your plan. Maybe your plan is changing based off of a major change or something along those lines. So we want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information regarding your classes, your curriculum, what you want to do. Maybe you have questions about, transferring after you finish with us, or continuing on to the bachelor's degree if you're almost finished with your associate in arts. Meet with your advisor. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's figure out where you are in that, in that system. So that is definitely one of the things that we want you all to do as well. And like I just mentioned, we want to make sure that you confirm your intended major. Sometimes when we are admitted as a dual enrollment student, we can come in under a program, but maybe, things have changed. There's something that maybe you finish that degree or program. We just want to make sure that you are indeed in your correct major that you're interested in. So that's something that you can do with your advisor. And there's a simple form that we fill out called the major code change form, which is submitted to admissions either in person or through the student document Dropbox, which Dr. Stokel will show us a little bit later. But we want to make sure that if you need to update or change your major, that we assist you in doing so. So make sure that you check your major as well. And then lastly, check your address. So like I mentioned earlier, for the students that might not have been active in 11th grade or prior to that, maybe even for the students that have been active, your address has changed. So make sure that whatever address that we have on file is the most accurate and up-to-date address. And once again, Dr. Stokel will kind of show you some of the different things that you can do a little bit later on in the presentation in your My EFFC account in your Titan Web. So we'll talk about that if that is one of the things that you need to do, is updating your address. All right, so moving along. We're going to talk a little bit about transcript requirements. So like I previously mentioned, there's two different things that we would need depending on when a student wants to start with us. First, if a dual enrollment student is interested in taking summer classes with us, there is a form called the grad pending letter, which acts as a placeholder for your official transcript, since technically we don't receive those until early July from Brevard Public Schools with the actual graduation date on the transcript. So this grad pending letter essentially is a letter from your counselors that state, such and such is ready to graduate by our standards, and it actually comes on the letterhead and is signed by your counselor. So we can use that as a acting transcript to register students for summer classes, since technically, you wouldn't have actually graduated from high school yet. But those kind of keep us, up to date with where you are. Now, most seniors do take fall classes, so that those classes start in August, it's usually mid-August for us, and that would require we receive a official copy of your high school transcript with your graduation date on there. To register for fall, you can also upload a copy of your diploma to your MyEFFC, but the final transcript must be official with the graduation date and whatever your withdrawal code is. That's what we use. That's what financial aid uses in order for their financial aid distribution. If you receive like a Pell Grant or a scholarship or something along those lines, um, that is one of the requirements on top of your registration. So make sure, depending on where you are, that you either get your grad pending letter from your counselor, or if you're looking at doing fall classes, you go ahead and meet with them, because a lot of times our high schools will have, maybe there's a list or something that you can sign that says, hey, please send my official high school transcript to Eastern Florida, with my graduation date once they are ready. So that is a conversation that you can have with your counselor. Maybe there's a hard copy list or something online. Maybe it's just something as simple as an email that you can send them. But that is one thing that I would recommend that you do, so that you'll be ready for either summer or fall, depending on when you want to start. So definitely request those transcripts and or those grad pending letters. That is a major registration / financial aid requirement. So, all right. So now we are going to talk a little bit about MyEFFC. And Dr. Stokel is actually going to um, show you hands-on what it looks like as a student logging in there. But we're going to watch a quick video on MyEFFC and kind of how to navigate through that system.
Your success starts with MyEFSC. This is your student portal to access all of your student resources. Now let's take a deeper look at what each of these apps do. Titan Web. This is where you will register for your classes, drop or withdraw from them, view your student account, pay your bill, apply for graduation, update your personal information, and get your parking permit. Canvas. This is where you will see your course content for all online and most on-campus classes, complete your required Canvas orientation, and access course assignments, discussion boards, and grades. My GPS. Here you will see your graduation plan for success, track your degree progress, find the name and contact for your academic advisor, and view what-if scenarios to explore different majors. Student email. This is your official EFSC Titan email account to communicate with all faculty and staff. Information about financial aid, student records, and graduation information will be sent here. Make sure to check your student email regularly. Titan Awards. Here you will apply for EFSC Titan scholarships. This is a one-application scholarship portal that opens every spring for fall scholarships and every fall for spring scholarships. Definitely take advantage of earning free money. Titan Preview. This is your new student orientation, which is a required yet valuable resource to learn about academic policies and college resources. Message Center. These are important messages that may impact your enrollment at EFSC. The messages could be about holds on your account or important information about your financial aid. To log into your MyEFSC portal, simply go to easternflorida.edu and click on the green EFSC Logins button. From there, select MyEFSC and use your student information to sign in. From there, you will have access to all of these apps.
All right. So that was a little bit about, our student portal. We call it
Your
MyEFFC.
success starts
Oh,
with
sorry about
MyEFSC.
that, guys. We call that MyEFFC. And like I said, Dr. Stokel is going to go over some of the different shortcuts and some of the different things that you can actually access through the MyEFFC student portal link. We talked about, the Canvas, which is our online student system. So if you have online classes, that's actually where you would log in to access those online classes. And then the Message Center, which is probably the most important one for us starting off, would be where you can look for any holds that you might have. So that could be things like submitting your official high school transcripts, or maybe there's something that financial aid is requiring of us. We want to make sure that we check for our holds, starting off, because there might be something preventing you from either registering or, requesting a official transcript from us to be sent to another university, or, anything along those lines. So usually if there's something stopping you, I'd recommend to check out the Message Center. And then some of the other shortcuts that we see here, like the Titan Awards, we're going to talk about scholarships a little bit later. Mentioned Canvas. Dr. Stokel is going to go over my GPS and how that can benefit you as a student. But one of the other things that we can do in there is make an appointment with an advisor. So as you see right here on this circle, you are able to see who your academic advisor is. Every student is assigned an advisor. If you already don't, if you don't know that yet, you can always check into your My EFFC to see who that person is. You can even, make an appointment with that person right there through the app, or you can click on their name and send them an email directly through that link. So make sure you check that out. And then, like we mentioned earlier, check your address in the quick link section on your Titan web. We just want to make sure that we have the most up-to-date address on file. There's all sorts of things that we can send you. Maybe you've made the dean's list this year, and we send that good old letter that you can put on the refrigerator. You'll never get it if we don't have the most up-to-date information on file, whether that's email, address. Maybe we're trying to reach out to you via phone. Just log into your Titan web and you can actually check that information under the personal informations tab. So you can reset your PIN, change your address, do all of those sorts of things. Change your emergency contact as you see there. Another thing that we want to show you is the Student Services tab. Under the Student Services tab, you can actually register for classes online. You can check your grades or your records, view your unofficial transcript, or any financial aid information that we have. And then the third tab, the Financial Aid Services, will show you what your status is and any eligibility of awards that you have received. So three very important sections here on the Titan web. Those would probably be the ones that you all use the most. If you have any questions about that, like I said, feel free to write it in the chat, or you can save it for the end. All right. So next up, these are some of the four things that we're going to talk about. Dr. Sarah Stokel is going to be joining us next. If you have questions about, advising or registration, this is your chance. Pay attention. We will probably answer a lot of those questions right now. Feel free to write in the chat if you have any issues or any comments about it. But we're going to go ahead and invite, Dr. Sarah Stokel up to give her piece.
Thank you, Myron. Okay, so I'm trying to share my screen now.
All right.
Can you guys see it okay?
We see it.
Perfect. Okay, thanks. As Myron mentioned, my name is Sarah Stokel. I'm one of the advisors at the COCO campus. Some of you on might be one of my former students. And the good part about this group here is some of you guys have already taken some classes with us. So I'll go over some information that is good for all students, but I really want to hit on what I think might be applicable for you guys as dual enrollment students transitioning into taking classes with us now as a non-dual enrollment student. So for some of you guys, you may have done 1 year of dual enrollment. Some of you may have finished your AA already with high school graduation, but want to take some prerequisites with us. Our goal here is to make that a smooth transition for you. So the biggest thing is now you don't have to go through the process of uploading that form, waiting for an advisor to sign you up. You get to do that essentially on your own. However, I will say it depends on when you do want to start with us. So for those that do want to take summer classes, this is for you, this portion. Myron mentioned that we do need that grad pending letter. That is very important because you're technically not graduated from high school yet. So we need to monitor you and make sure that you are on track to graduate. So you'll get that from your counselor. And then what you will do is you can take a picture of it. You can, if you have a PDF of it, you will log into your My EFSC account, which most of you guys should know how to do this already. And you'll scroll down to the student document Dropbox. You'll upload that grad pending form here, and then you'll do send to admissions. So you'll see several different departments here. You guys are already familiar with the advising department. What will happen after that? Admissions will put your document into one of our screens that lets us know in advising that you have submitted that form. Once that form is processed, it is up to you now to contact the advising department. So you can contact your advisor directly. So you can see here, I'm signed into my account. My advisor is Jackie, who some of you might be familiar with as well. You can contact your advisor directly to say, hi, I uploaded and processed my grad pending form. Can you push my hold out so I can register? So keep in mind that grad pending, if a letter does not remove the hold. So you will still have a hold on your account until you are actually graduated from high school. But what that allows us to do in advising is to push out that hold for only 2 days. So you only get 2 days. And then you're able to actually go onto the system and register yourself. We will not register you. Keep in mind, if you have trouble getting in touch with your advisor, we do have an advising phone line, which I will say, and if Dylan or somebody wants to write this in the chat, the advising phone line is 321-433-5512. So that we all take turns on that phone queue. And so you can just let the person, the advisor that answers, just say, hey, I uploaded my grad pending. Could you possibly move out my hold for me? We can go into your record, see that it's in there, and we can push that hold out for you so you can register right away. Now, in case you do need to make changes after those 2 days, you changed your mind, you wanted to add another class or drop a class, all you have to do is just call back in and we can push that hold out again for you. The reason for it is, again, you're not technically graduated, so we just want to make sure we monitor you and make sure that we can better advise you. Those are only for the summer students that want to take summer classes. If you do want to take fall classes, you do have to wait until you get your actual diploma. So fall registration does not start until May 23rd. So most of you guys will be graduating within, 2 weeks of that date. So as soon as you get that diploma, same thing, take a picture of it, upload it to the document Dropbox here to admissions again. Admissions will put that on your record and they will at that point actually be able to remove the diploma hold and you'll be able to again go on and register on your own. No need to contact advising if you've already met with your advisor and come up with a plan. You'll be able to register for fall on your own. But as Myron mentioned, you will definitely want to get your official transcript in that shows that you actually graduated. So that will be a hold on your account. We just give you a little bit extra time to get that in, especially if you are wanting to get financial aid. So a lot of you guys were fortunate enough to have the school board pay for your dual enrollment classes. So that was the good part. You did not have to pay for your classes. You didn't have to pay for your textbooks. Now that you're graduating, you will be responsible for that payment. So a lot of students will want to take advantage of financial aid. So if you have not already done so, I would highly encourage you guys to fill out your FAFSA. It is a free application. Once you fill that out, there's 2 applications out there right now, one for summer and one for fall. I do not work in financial aid, but I will say I did talk to somebody in financial aid because I had a question. I was like, hey, we have some of our students graduating from high school. They want to take summer classes, but they're not technically graduated yet. And so you still can fill out the application. Your application will not be ready in time by fee due date. So you will have to pay for your courses for summer up front. But the good part is if you are eligible, once your transcript gets in, they may be able to reimburse you. So I highly encourage you to reach out to financial aid. You all should see that when you sign into your account here. It will have your charges here, and then this is really nice. It has financial aid's direct line. So again, this is a number you may want to take advantage of just to reach out with them with your situation, depending again, if you plan to pay for classes out of pocket. If you do want financial aid assistance, that will help out tremendously. A couple other things I want to show you here. Myron touched on, take advantage of this. Everybody should know who their advisor is. You have an assigned advisor. That person will stay with you throughout the course until you graduate and finish up at Eastern Florida. Lots of cool stuff here to show you your normal schedule, past classes, making sure you pay your bill. I cannot stress this enough. Some of our dual enrollment students are used to not paying for their classes, so they sign up and then they completely forget about fee due date. And what happens is when you don't pay by fee due date, they will drop your classes. And students know this and they're waiting for fee due date so they can go and take those classes. So always be prepared for fee due date to either make your payment or make sure that financial aid is taking care of that for you. And then you guys are already familiar with the document Dropbox. Just know that this is a very useful tool that we try to make it very easy for you to not have to come in if you can't get in for whatever reason. Different departments, again, financial aid may request information, advising you're used to, again, admissions. And then we also have college-wide chairs, the office of the registrar. So this is your dashboard. Once you click on the dashboard, there's several icons here. Titan Web, I'm going to show you a little bit there. We're not going to go into Canvas. Most of you guys should be familiar with that. That's the online class portal. My GPS, I'll show you a little bit. And then student email, I just want to say, please keep in mind that we cannot send emails to outside email addresses. So Gmail, Yahoo, we cannot utilize them. We cannot verify that that is you. So please constantly check your student email. A lot of times students will be like, nobody told me that fees were due, or nobody told me that I needed to do that. We send out a lot of information through your student email as a way to try to communicate with you. So just make sure to use that. Also, if you need to email your advisor, be sure to take advantage of using the student email portal as well. Because if you send it elsewhere, we will not. So oftentimes we don't even get it. Our system blocks it. Okay, so I want to show you the Titan Web real quick. This is where you will actually now go in to register. This is where Myron talked about if you need to update your address, phone number, anything, you'll just click on personal information. You can do that in here. This is the one you'll utilize the most, more than likely, and then financial aid if you needed to check anything here. So student services, some of you guys should be familiar with this. Again, you can't use it fully because you do have holds on your account, but it still allows you to do certain things. So registration, this is where you can look up classes to add. This is very useful because some of you guys might have had this happen to you in the past. You'll put a class on your dual enrollment form. We get it in advising, and then we come back and say, sorry, that class is full. This is a really good way if you do this search option that it can tell you how many seats are open still in that class. So it gives you a good idea. Some of you guys might be picking a class that only had one spot left, and by the time we got it, it was already full. So excellent resource to check that. You will actually click on registration. All of you guys will do this now for summer and for fall. Add drop classes. You'll pick your term here. Again, you have a hold on your account, but advising can push that out for summer term if there's a grad pending in there. You'll have to agree to terms now. This is letting you know that you're paying for the classes. Make sure to pay. You'll want to read through this your first time especially. And then you'll get to see the screen that you've never been able to see before. And this will allow you to search for classes here, or you can search for them in that other lookup tool option I showed you. Or some of you guys may be familiar with just off of our homepage. A lot of students will go here, click the blue register button, green find classes, and search for your class here. So say you wanted to take composition 1. You would put in Com 1. Say you wanted to take it at the Cocoa campus. You would do your search and you'd see, okay, we have one at the Cocoa campus in person, and you would look for this CRN. You guys, again, should be used to this from your dual enrollment form. That CRN number, you would just go back over here and type in right here and click submit changes, and you'd be registered for that course. You can always view your schedule, again, by going up to student services, registration, student detail schedule. Other things that students like to do in here, if you're going to be parking on campus, you'll need to get a parking decal. Also, student records is great for when it comes time to apply to graduate. Students sometimes forget that they'll need to do that. And then also if you need an official transcript down the road, this is where you will do that as well. The last thing I wanted to show you is my GPS. Most of you guys should be familiar with this. If not, I encourage you to look at this. This again will have your advisor's name on it. This is where you really want to see where your progress is in terms of getting the degree that you're here for. And coming up with a plan essentially. So this tells you all your main requirements here. We have a new requirement with civic literacy. Some of you guys may be required to take the civic literacy exam. Again, you'll want to communicate that with your advisor so we can go over that with you. And then here is where you will see all of the courses needed for your degree. Your communications courses, your math courses, your sciences. If this, again, this is one of our not real students, not a student. Hopefully you guys think that's funny. So this is one of our generic My GPSs. Your guys's should be full of some classes completed. So you'll see some green check marks. If you're in any classes currently, there'll be the light blue, and then the red is still what is needed. So this is a very useful tool. If you're like, hey, I don't know what to take for summer classes, or I don't know what to take for fall, you can look through this and kind of make a plan. Again, I strongly encourage you to meet with your advisor. I think I just said I only had one more thing, but I'm just going to add to it one more. With dual enrollment students transitioning, oftentimes, if you've already got your degree or you're close to it, Myron touched on this a little bit. If you are trying to get financial aid, it is so important to be in a degree that requires the courses you are trying to take. So I have some students, they finish their AA and they're like, oh, I need to take some business prereqs. Financial aid will only cover what is needed for your degree. So if you got to your elective area and you already filled up your electives with other things, you may need to pay for those classes out of pocket. So that is where you need to really stay in touch with your advisor, see what your options are, because that's one of the rules with financial aid, is just making sure that you're taking classes that are needed for your current major. And lastly, oh yeah, let me just show you one more thing. Over on our main website, always go to this: academic and career options, academic calendar, and deadline. Again, can't tell you how many times students miss an important deadline. Summer term over here, you can go through fee due date, May 5th. That is coming up, you guys. Late registration, that's a $50 fee. If you want to avoid that, make sure to pay and sign up by that deadline. Add drop week, when you can withdraw. We have several different summer terms. So do this every semester. You already see that falls out here as well. And I think that's it, Myron, unless you had any other things that you wanted me to touch on.
No, thank you, Sarah. That was really helpful. One other thing that I wanted to mention with the My GPS is for students that were, can you go back to that screen,
Yep.
Sarah?
Yep.
Can you explain that what if function? Is that?
Yes, this is great.
Yeah.
So a lot of students are in the AA degree, and this is the one that it's built for. But say you're thinking about going for a different major, you might be interested in staying here for your bachelor's degree. You can come over here to do what if and see different programs that we offer. So we can scroll through here, see these are the AA pathways. And then we have AS degrees, and then down here, let's say you're thinking, you know what, I want to stay here for my BAS in organizational management, public administration. You'll click on that, click the process what if, and now it will tell you what you still need for that major. So here you're going to see it will require an AA degree. So it will still have those requirements, but then you can see, oh, okay, so this is what I would need if I wanted to get that major. It has the core requirements, the specialization, and then technical electives. So very, very useful tool if you are interested in some other type of degree that we offer or switching your major.
Thank you, Dr. Stokel. Yeah, that is a very powerful tool, seniors. So this is something that you can use if you were the type of student that I was. I'd have those random thoughts at like 11 o'clock at night. And, we can't just text Dr. Stokel and say, hey, what if I wanted to do this? So with this My GPS resource, this is a tool that you can use to not only see how far along you are with your degree that you're currently in, but if you're looking ahead, or maybe you're not feeling that major anymore and you want to explore something else, and you want to see how that can impact the classes that you've already taken or the ones that you need to take, that what if function is a really helpful tool as well. So thank you, Dr. Stokel. we are going to go ahead and now look at the FAFSA and scholarships. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. First and foremost, like Dr. Stokel said, the first word in FAFSA is free. So we should never be paying to do a FAFSA. And FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So if you go to a website that you think is the FAFSA and it asks you for payment information, you are on the wrong site. Another thing that we want to look at is students, like Dr. Stokel said, they must be degree seeking and they must meet the requirements based upon financial aid, or financial need, I'm sorry. So when you're filling out the FAFSA, we're looking at, a variety of different things. What is this your first year in college? What type of degree are you looking to receive or certificate? Um, you know, we're also going to look at like household income information, how many people live in your household. They're going to put all of these factors together. And then we're also going to look at the cost of tuition at these schools that you're looking at. And we want to figure out, well, the federal government wants to figure out what is that gap. And based off of what that need or that gap is, then they can either give us things like grants and scholarships, which are, if we receive a grant or a scholarship, that's free money essentially. We don't have to pay that back. But as we know, with loans, just like a house loan, that's something that must be paid back. And in the world of education, that means after you graduate. So we definitely want to focus on either continuing our education or working in our career fields and not paying off loans unless we really have to take a loan out. But we shouldn't have to do that at this level. So there is a difference, and I am no financial aid expert by any means, but I work very closely with a lot of them. But there are two types of loans if we do decide that we are interested in a loan. Subsidized, which means that the interest is paid by the Department of Education, and unsubsidized, which means that interest is paid by you, the student. So if you have questions about that, you can always contact our financial aid department. We have one located on all 4 of our campuses. Definitely use them as a resource. Um, if you need any, if you have any questions or if you need any additional assistance with completing a FAFSA, maybe you've completed it and you just don't know what to do next, or maybe you've been selected for verification and you just want to know what is that. Another thing that I would definitely ask them about is the Bright Futures Academic Scholar and the Titan Advantage Scholarship. So if you are receiving Bright Futures and you get the academic scholar funds, you might be able to automatically qualify for the Titan Advantage funds, which will cover the difference in tuition costs. So this must be indicated on your Bright Futures application. You must indicate that you're interested at EFFC in order to be eligible. So you may log in and add that before the deadline as well, if you haven't already done so. So next up, we're going to talk about scholarships. We're going to go into a little bit more detail about them. Our scholarship system is currently open. It opened up on March 8th, and it will close on May 17th for our fall 2022 scholarships. Some of the things that we're going to have you do, and like Dr. Stokel mentioned earlier, there is a shortcut. I believe it's right next to the orientation, the Titan Preview shortcut. It says Titan Scholarships. If you click on that, you only have to fill out one application and it will allow you to, it'll pretty much put together a profile for you based off of how you answer the questions that we're going to ask. And then we're going to let you know what sort of scholarships that we have out there that would apply for you. So as you see here on the screen, some of the things that we're going to ask you to do, depending on what the scholarship is that you've requested, is write a personal statement. So we want to include things like your goals, any educational, personal, or career goals that you have. And if they're asking like a specific question, make sure you answer that question. And then last but not least, if there is a minimum requirement for words to be written for the essay, also make sure that you are following those requirements. And a lot of times, so many of our scholarships go unused each year. So any opportunity that I get to, promote the scholarships, definitely want you all to do that. And as dual enrollment students, you already have the opportunity to log in there since you have B numbers, you have access to your My EFFC. You can go ahead and apply for those scholarships now if you haven't already done so. So please, 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 let's make sure that we are utilizing those resources right in front of us. There are all sorts of scholarships out there. You know, they're not all requiring a perfect GPA or test scores. So, you know, go ahead, fill it out, see what you might qualify for. And, you know, once we close it out on the 17th of May, we will then, the committee meets, they go through all of the applicants, read the essays, and then we select our winners. So like Dr. Stokel said, please check your emails. Always, you know, be on the lookout for anything, because I would hate to go, you know, 2 years into my collegiate, you know, career and then see that I received a scholarship my freshman year and never did anything about that. So please check your student emails. All right, so next up, we are going to introduce Mrs. Kim Castle from admissions. We are going to have her talk a little bit about residency and the residency affidavit and what that looks like. So Kim, if you would like to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Everybody can hear me? Okay. So again, remember that the school board has been paying your tuition up until now. So now you're going to be faced with a bill. Hopefully you'll take advantage of those scholarships and the financial aid, but tuition for Florida state residents, and you have to legally prove that now, is going to be much lower. I'm going to share my screen and show you why this is so important, if that's okay, Myron.
Of course.
Can everybody see this now? EFSC tuition rates. Take a look at this right here. You are defaulting to a non-resident. If we don't take care of your Florida resident paperwork, you will be paying this per hour instead of this, $405 versus $104. So that's not really something that you want to be faced with. Something that makes this a little bit confusing, one, you've never done it before, but two, you will see this hold on your account, but it will not stop you from registering. So we have a lot of students that forget to do this because they're allowed to go ahead and register. And why is that? You don't have to be a Florida resident to go to school here, but you want to be if you are, because you want to get this lower rate. I'm going to go ahead and show you the Florida resident paperwork, and I'm going to put this, I'm going to go ahead right now and put this link. I'm going to put this link in the chat for you so that you can get to this paperwork yourself. This is what the Florida residency declaration paperwork looks like, and it looks a lot worse than it is. A lot of this is just filling out your name, your student ID number, your address. This section right here, please read it carefully. Complete this section only if you are a non-resident. Not all of this form has to be completed, but we'll go through, see a lot of words on here, a lot of different scenarios. Basically, I'm going to cut to the chase. If you have lived in Florida for more than a year, you're usually going to be good with this. It's going to be very easy. Most people use a driver's license and a voter registration card, and this is going to be your parents, not you. If you are over 24 years old, you would be the one completing this form. If you're under, which all of you are because you're coming out of high school, this is going to be your parent completing this form, and it's one or the other. It doesn't have to be both. They are going to sign the last page right here, signature of claimant. They are the resident, not you, again, because you're under 24. So these are some examples here, if you can read it, of the, let me make that a little bigger, of the things that you can use. Florida voter registration card, a driver's license, a car registration. You can do a lease to an apartment, or your title to your home. Your parents could provide work stubs for the last year that show that they've been working in Florida. There's many things that you can do, and it's generally pretty easy to find a couple. If you have any questions, you just call admissions. We will help you. We will try to find ways to help you if you're having trouble figuring it out. But you are going to fill out this form, provide 2 proofs, which are listed on the back of this form, and upload it to that student Dropbox that Dr. Stokel showed you. And you're all familiar with it. You've already been using it. Just upload it to admissions in the Dropbox, or you are more than welcome to stop by any campus, visit admissions, and turn it in. You can take pictures of driver's license, voter registration, of the documents that you're going to use. You can bring them in to us in person, whatever you are most comfortable with, but we do need to have 2. Now, there are some unusual situations where people are going to school in Florida and may not be a Florida resident. Military is one, and we can help you with that. Normally, we can get you Florida residency based on just being based in Florida. If you have a Florida prepaid program, you are automatically a Florida resident. So those are some of the out-of-the-box situations. Other than that, let me see. Myron, can you think of anything you want to add?
No, I think you hit it on the head. You know, there are a few exceptions. So also one that we didn't mention was the, did you say the Florida prepaid, Kim? I'm sorry, I didn't know
Florida
if you said.
prepaid,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. So yeah, just a recap of what Mrs. Castle said. You need 2 documents, 1 parent. Make sure you also submit the ID or the copies of the documents with the residency affidavit. That's very important. We can't just assume that. We want to believe you, but we can't assume that what you put on there is correct. So we do need a copy of that ID as well. So no, I think you covered it all. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, you're welcome. And just remember, again, you're going to see this hold, but it's not going to stop you from registering. So please get this in and take care of it so we can get you that lower rate.
All right. So really helpful information. That is something that everyone here needs to do. Please make sure that you do the residency affidavit, or your tuition rates will be severely impacted by that. So I am going to put another link into the chat, and we're going to talk about this next section here. And this is just another resource for you all. This is a digital guidebook which was created just for the class of 2022, and it's designed to help seniors navigate from high school to Eastern Florida State College. So this actually includes a checklist of things that you should have been doing or should be doing or still can do, that are important for seniors to work on and keep in mind as you finish up your final year at high school. So as it comes to an end, a lot of the things that we talked about today are in this guidebook. Feel free to open it up, save it, bookmark it on your computer, go back and reference it. And the way that it works, and I'll just kind of briefly show you all, is, one second, let me pull it up. It's linked directly to our website. So as you're using this guidebook, it will kind of, you see here, it will kind of show you things that you need to do, but it'll also link you there via hyperlink. So let me show you what that'll look like. All right. All right, so when we actually open up, and let me go full screen mode here. If you go to the very first page, you'll kind of see some of these things kind of highlighted for a second there, and that's how you can kind of have an idea of what is one of those clickable links there. So if you click on this will actually go directly to my Outlook email, and you can send me an email. or you can make an appointment to meet with me here. I know I look a little different on this picture. Here is a little bit longer, but such is life. We're going to keep moving along here. But this is the important stuff. The senior checklist, as you see, it's broken up into 3 different sections. On pages 3 and 4, we have fall and spring. And then also on 5, we have summer here at the top half. Just to kind of show you, to give you an idea of, how this works. If you were to click on the cutoff scores, this would then open up a link directly to our website under our placement test, under our testing services site, where you can see what sort of scores you need for the SAT, ACT, or PERT, if that were something that you needed to provide to us. So this book is helpful in that sense. So these are things, not only does it spell it out for you, it also links directly to the website on where you can access this information. So it has the checklist. We also talk about some of the different types of certificates and degree options. What is a college credit certificate? What is an associate's degree? What's a bachelor's degree? Mrs. Castle talked about residency. You can click directly here and be taken to that site where she was at, where we can not only see what are some of those different things, but we can also download that residency form right here through this guidebook. And then we also have our partners, Direct Connect, Florida Tech, which we also have Mr. Harris here from Florida Tech, Army ROTC. So I know he has some information for our attendees as well. But yeah, this is just a very helpful book. Feel free to navigate through it, see what would apply to you, what might help you. There's also different videos. There's a page dedicated to financial aid and scholarships. Some of our different campus resources are located here, where you can also go and maybe you are the first person in your direct household to have a bachelor's degree. Maybe mom or dad does not have a bachelor's degree, so you might qualify for our TRIO program. But what is TRIO? Well, click here, and then this will take you directly to the TRIO site on our website, so we can learn about some of those different resources that they have through that program. And you can also see the contact information for the representatives here as well. So this book is for you guys. This is to help you along the way. We also have a video bank. That doesn't look the greatest. There we go. We also have a video bank of many different helpful videos, how to apply, how to make an appointment with your advisor, financial aid tips, how to check your financial aid status, how to use your Dropbox, how to make an appointment. So this is for you guys. This is something that, after this workshop is done and you say, man, I forgot everything they said, at least you can go back, reference this, and we also are recording this, so this will be up on our website as well. So if you do want to go back and watch it, that will be an option as well. But why not utilize these links right here? And then on the last page, we also have some helpful, our main phone number for the recruitment team, and then the college main line, our social media handles, which you can actually click on these and be taken directly to that. And then maybe you need, your transcript mailed or something to a college. So here's our addresses as well. So this book is for you all. This is a resource for our students. We want you to use it as such. Feel free to, if you don't have access to that link, you can shoot me an email and I'll send it to you. Or if you lose it, whatever the case may be, make sure you utilize that. So I'm also going to pull up our presentation one more time. Okay. All right. And any questions? First and foremost, feel free to type them in the in the comments box. There's a chat box where, as we see, Mr. Harris has left us a wonderful message. Thank you, Mr. Harris. And if you want to unmute yourself, you can go ahead and do so and, speak to the team as well.